If I were to put 10 people in a room, a virtual room, there's still COVID, and ask them to define DevOps or even explain DevOps, what do you think would happen? I'll tell you what would happen. I would get 15 different answers. And these answers would be half-truths. See, DevOps is dead because DevOps means everything and DevOps means nothing. DevOps was never intended to be a thing. DevOps was never intended to have structure. DevOps was about a mindset. It was about collaboration. Did I ruffle your feathers enough? Is your blood boiling? Make sure you take it out on me in the comments below, but not before you've watched the whole video. Let's get started. Welcome back, everyone. My name's Elias Kinaser, and today we're going to answer the very controversial question, why is DevOps dead? And what is Platform Ops? If you like this type of content, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, hit that notification bell so that you're alerted the next time I upload a video, and most importantly, leave a comment below. DevOps is dead because for most organizations, they've done some levels of DevOps. There's been significant progress on the DevOps journey, but no one really completed that DevOps journey, arrived at that DevOps journey. Or maybe not no one, but very few arrived at that DevOps journey. See, DevOps promised faster time to market through efficiency and collaboration. Collaboration between developers and operations, and efficiency by upskilling our operations engineers to understand the developer process, to understand the developer workflow, to have a developer mindset, to learn to code, to learn to automate. We introduced infrastructure as code. We leveraged tools like Puppet, like Chef, like Ansible, like Terraform. We used the public cloud providers' tools. We learned about cloud development kits or CDKs. We reprogrammed operations engineers so that they're no longer server huggers, so they're no longer treating servers as pets, but rather as cattle. And I would say for the most part, from an efficiency perspective, we've succeeded. Message received. As an operations engineer, I would say message received. Many of us have already upskilled, they've already learned all of these tools, and many of us are going through the process. And to reinforce this point, if we look at Puppet's 2021 State of DevOps report, 62% of organizations say that they are stuck in mid-evolution as far as their DevOps journeys, despite high levels of automation. So what does that mean? That means that ops engineers did what they were supposed to do. They upskilled, they automated as much as possible, they tried to understand the DevOps process, the mentality, the workflow. They did what they were supposed to do, yet we are not getting the full potential of what we were promised from DevOps. See, the problem is the lack of unity around DevOps processes and DevOps structures is prohibiting the progress amongst developers, operations engineers, and IT leaders. Now what? Now, Platform Ops. Platform Ops aims to optimize and structure DevOps practices across an organization by dedicating a team to the operations of a shared self-service platform that can scale more efficiently. Why, Eli? Why will it scale more efficiently? It will scale more efficiently because a platform is going to create a clear delineation of responsibilities between what developers expect from a platform and what operations engineers are expected to do with that platform. There will be clear delineations of tasks, of responsibilities. For example, development teams need to be able to control things that are part of their workflows. For example, continuous integration, source code management, test management or integration testing, environment management so that they have the ability to spin up or spin down multiple dev or test environments. On the other hand, operations engineers need to be able to control things like infrastructure automation and lifecycle, infrastructure availability and resilience, artifact repository like AWS Code Artifact or Azure Artifacts, incident management, infrastructure and application security, CI/CD pipeline, and observability, which includes all metrics, traceability, logging, and monitoring. See, we can rally around that. Now there's a platform. There's clarity in terms of who's doing what. There's unity around the process and the structure. Operations folks are able to deliver a consistent platform for developers to code and run their applications on. Developers are able to be self-sufficient. They're not restrained. They're able to develop against this platform. They have the independence of being able to spin up their environments, spin down their environments. Now there's cohesion. We're able to support it. We're able to rally around it. We're able to scale it a lot more, a lot better. So the difference here between platform ops and DevOps, platform ops is bringing a lot more consistency, a lot more structure in order to be able to scale a lot more efficiently. Now, a question that I get asked often is, well, Eli, where should this dedicated team live? Should it be under the INO organization or should it be under the development organization? Tomato, tomato, right? I say, it depends. And it depends on your culture. It depends on your business. It depends on your maturity model, on your maturity journey in terms of DevOps and platform ops. If you're an organization that heavily leans in favor of INO, that still has a lot of legacy applications, that still has a lot of these COTS applications, let's say, then I would say the platform ops team is probably under the infrastructure and operations organization. However, if you are a newer organization, or if your organization revolves around a product, or every single project is a product, then maybe it's probably better to be under development. But what I would say is, it doesn't matter. Now that we have a platform, we have the clear delineation of responsibility. Everyone knows what they're supposed to do, where their responsibility begins and where it ends. They're able to collaborate better. They're able to help each other and work together to scale this environment a lot better. So whether you structure it under INO or under development, it really will come down to your culture, to the culture within your organization, to the amount of skill sets that you have. Where does this skill set lie? Is it in the INO organization or is it in the development organization? I would say, don't sweat it. Don't sweat where to put this team. Figure out, first of all, how to build this team, and then reorging it or putting this team under the right umbrella, under the right organization. It could always change, right? So you might start off under the INO organization. It could get restructured at some point in time. What we're trying to get at is better consistency, better collaboration, more unity around how we can move together instead of being split apart by the details of how we're going to do things, what we're going to do, and who's responsible for what. So in the end, folks, what I'm going to leave you with is most of the teams, most of the organizations that have been successful at DevOps no longer call it DevOps. They just do it. So my advice to you in 2022 and beyond is to create a platform ops team, is to be able to delineate the responsibilities between developers and operations in order for everyone to know what they expect and what they're getting, where their responsibilities begin, where they end. And that will force your maturity in terms of DevOps, in terms of your DevOps journey a lot further. So is DevOps dead? I would say DevOps on its own without platform ops, has had limited success. And I don't think without platform ops, DevOps will be able to succeed more than this. It's kind of plateaued in my opinion. But when you couple platform ops and you bring that structure to it, then you're bringing all of the best practices, all of the things that we wanted DevOps to be, and we're putting them in a structure, rallying around the platform. That is a recipe for success. I hope this video was informative. I hope you learned something. If you did, don't forget to give me a like, subscribe, share, leave a comment below. Thank you so much for watching to the end. I love you all, and I will see you in the next one.